Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Antigua's permanent representative to the Organization of American States, the OAS, elected to president for an unprecedented third term. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Friday, 6th October 2023, brought to you in association with our friends at Antillian Group. Details when we return.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. Antigua and Barbuda's ambassador to the Organization of American States, Sir Ronald Sanders, has begun his historic third stint as president of the OAS's Permanent Council. Sir Ronald presided over his first meeting on Monday, which partly dealt with the establishment of the voluntary group on the Inter-American Democratic Charter. ABS's Garfield Burford reports.
I will be circulating the chairman's work plan in a few days that will have at its center tackling problems that we all have in common and fulfilling aspirations that we all share. I look forward to your collaboration in fulfilling that goal.
Sir Ronald Sanders delivering opening remarks as he assumed the presidency of the OAS's Permanent Council for an unprecedented third term. He also commended his predecessor in the role.
On behalf of the Permanent Council, we extend appreciation to the outgoing chair of the Permanent Council, Ambassador Audrey Marks, Permanent Representative of Jamaica, and our thanks to the Vice Chair, Ambassador Carlos Roberto Quezada, who is with us here this morning.
He chairs the Permanent Council at a time of significant challenge for the hemispheric grouping, none of those challenges bigger than the existential threat from climate change. Another crucial imperative for the OAS is protecting and nurturing democracy at a time when it faces threats throughout the Americas. The discussion on establishing the voluntary group on the Inter-American Democratic Charter arose from Resolution 3004 of the General Assembly.
Operative paragraph 2 of section 6 of that resolution encourages, and I will quote it, the creation of an open participation, voluntary group of member states to foster, with the support of the Secretariat for Strengthening Democracy, dialogue, horizontal cooperation, and the sharing of best practices among its members, and to identify opportunities within the principles of the OAS Charter and the Inter-American Democratic Charter to strengthen their democracies.
One of his duties was to welcome the permanent representative of Grenada, Ambassador Tarley Francis, who in turn praised Ambassador Sanders in his inaugural remarks.
I should probably offer that it is a gift that my first words on this floor would coincide with your historic chairmanship, third session, and congratulate you at that as well, and assure you of our delegation's support wherever you would need.
Sir Ronald welcomed the contributions from the various delegations.
I am delighted that the Ambassador of Bolivia has joined in this group, and I think the numbers are quite high at the moment.
Sir Ronald's previous official tenures as president in 2016 and 2021 saw him steering the council's response to political crises in nations such as Haiti, Venezuela, and Nicaragua. He has indicated his third presidency's agenda would prominently feature critical issues such as climate change, guns, gangs and violence, and access to concessional financing for development.
Bahamas' Prime Minister Philip Davis comments on the Bahamas' commitment to Haiti. More in this ZNS News item.
The government has pledged 150 military troops into Haiti, and it's all in an effort to bring stability to that country, now reeling in political, economic, and social turmoil. It's part of an action plan approved by the United Nations Council for member states lending support more than a year ago. Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis telling the media this morning that the Bahamas will follow through on its commitment.
Well, the next step moving forward is to settle the logistics of any of our troops going. We're not just going to send them there without having a broad understanding of the mandate. There's a draft resolution that needs still to be tweaked. We're waiting for the final to come to us. When that has come, we'll then have conversations with the lead team that will be going in there, that will be truly leading and the principal actors in this whole assistance to Haiti, Kenya, and then we will decide how that will look.
Experts contend that the crime-fighting strategies outlined in Monday's national budget in Trinidad and Tobago can be impactful. However, management and adaptability will be key to unlocking the solutions. Security expert Garvin Hira and criminologist Dr. Randy C. Prasad also believe that initiatives to transform the police service have the potential to arrest the crime situation. CNC3's Jesse Ramdio brings us more in this report.
The Ministry of National Security's $6.9 billion budget allocation is the largest in the last 8 years.
Man on the ground is going to question and going to ask, yes, but how is that going to stop the killing?
But let's stick a pin for a moment in this point raised by strategic security consultant Garvin Hira and zero in on government's 2024 public sector investment program for public safety and citizen security. Existing and new initiatives will form the national security's formula for bolstering a safe and stable environment. $123.4 million have been set aside to improve the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard's infrastructure and equipment. Funding has also been earmarked for upgrades and refurbishments at the Defence Force and Air Guard. And further to the Finance Minister's budget announcement of an additional funding for TTPS vehicles and equipment, $175.9 million will also go towards refurbishing and constructing new police facilities. Circling back to Hira, he noted that plans to accelerate the recruitment of police officers in 2024 present new ways to tackle transnational crime.
It's a good opportunity now to step back and revisit and review our recruitment and selection process. I am saying make Spanish-speaking officers mandatory, not just teaching Spanish in the recruit training. Recruit Spanish-speaking men and women, because that is a silent threat to crime and criminality in this country.
$1.5 million will be spent on outfitting the police academy with additional facilities and support structures to accommodate the increased intake. Hira further noted the importance of aligning the National Security Ministry with the budget's theme of building capacity for diversification and growth within a world of changes. Criminologist Dr. Randy C. Prasad said sustaining more boots on the ground should not come at the cost of existing measures.
We also need to look at more strategic ways of using the resources that we do have, given that it's a very expensive and ongoing cost to hire police officers.
An estimated $65 million is expected to be allocated for the body camera system project. Meanwhile, former Top Cop Gary Griffith stated that the finance minister's budget initiatives were a resurrection of previous plans which had been shelved. Jesse Ramdale, CNC3 News.
In the meantime, the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce has described the budget as cautious and is advising citizens to re-examine what they do. And the Greater San Fernando Area Chamber of Commerce is recommending that the proposed retirement age of 65 not be mandatory in the first instance. Gisha Colasa Alonso tells us more in CNC's Business Watch.
President of the TNT Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Kiran Maharaj, is describing the national budget as cautious. And she says this should also be a sign to citizens.
I think that people have to realize that the world has changed. We're in a different dynamic now, in a different time and space. And so we all need to re-examine what we do, right? There is a Forex problem. So Trinidad and Tobago is faced with the issue of how do we repatriate some of that forex, but how do we spur our businesses to grow to also bring more foreign exchange in? And I think that the budget, that is what the minister was trying to do. He was trying to find ways to help spur some growth.
Ms. Maharaj says that she believes that Finance Minister Colm Embuth was very real when he presented his fiscal package in Parliament on Monday.
He was very honest, and he made that point that, everything is not solved by the budget alone. It would take him hours. But I think the mere fact that he was very conservative with his of the predication for the oil and gas, I think that says a lot to us.
Ms. Maharaj was speaking to Business Watch earlier today, following the Chamber's post-budget analysis, which was held at the Hyatt Regency Hotel. Meanwhile, President of the Greater San Fernando Area Chamber of Commerce, Kiran Singh, is recommending that the proposal by government to move the retirement age to 65 be given more thought.
We would suggest that the retirement age not be mandatory at 65, but persons be given the choice going forward in the first few years to enable them to have the choice to retire at 60 or prorated between 60 and 65 to go home when they are ready to do so. And as this would aid them in better preparatory plans for after retirement.
According to Mr. Singh, this will also give the National Insurance Board greater ability to service their customers. Geisha Kaulesa Alonso, CNC3 Business Watch.
Jamaica's Teachers Association, the JTA, has declared dunce culture fueling violence in some schools. Javon Keys of TVJ News reports.
According to reports, the 14-year-old was brutally beaten after accidentally stepping on the 11th grader's brand new shoes at Clark's. Reacting to the incident, JTA President Leighton Johnson says the attack is evidence of the dunce culture, which has been allowed to take root in the education sector.
We have allowed the acquisition of material possessions to be viewed as the ultimate means of validation for success. School administrators know very well that in many instances, students are distracted by fashion and fads, and the maintenance of these fashions and fads lead to students displaying behaviors that are disruptive, disgraceful, disrespectful, and violent.
He says teachers are at times fearful of students who use the acquisition of certain material items as a statement to indicate a group, a syndicate, or a gang they're part of.
It is based on these experiences why school administrators have engaged the process of implementing rules that seek to prevent the cultural practices, these negative cultural practices that can lead to violent behaviors from taking root in their schools, and to ensure that our schools remain safe spaces.
He also urged students to use conflict resolution skills and the restorative justice practices that are being taught and promoted in schools. But as for parents,
do not give your children high-end cell phones that will make them targets. Do not allow your children to take more than one device to school. Be conservative in the footwear and the bags that you give to your children, as we have seen where students have been robbed, hurt, and sad to say, killed for these things.
The accused student in the BB Coke incident is expected to make his first court appearance on Monday. As for the injured student, he remains in stable condition. Javon Keys, TVJ News.
I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Killian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.